About 5 days ago, Moscow was hit by the worst snowstorm in 100 years. We went from zero snow on the ground to cars being stuck, roads being difficult to drive, and it was certainly difficult to walk around as well. What I thought I'd do is give you a little update about 5 or 6 days later and see how it is. Are you ready to check it out? Let's go. Oh, just before we do that, I'm about 45 people away from 70,000 subscribers. 70,000 subscribers is way more than I thought I would ever get. So if you're watching this and you're not subscribed, please do hit subscribe. Let's go check out what Moscow looks like. Alright guys, as you can see, we're in amongst lots of apartment blocks away from the main road. So far so good. The road and the pavement has been cleared pretty well. As you can see, it's piled up pretty high. We might see some cars that haven't moved since the snowstorm, but as you can see, cars are getting around pretty well. Everything's been ploughed off to the side, even on these little tiny roads in and out the car parks. But that is basically as tall as me. So let's take a walk around. It's almost like a wall here, a wall of snow. I can see a Yandex delivery bike. So everyone's still getting their food deliveries, etc. I'm just going to look at these big gloves. That's where the guy puts his hand in. Because, as you can imagine, even with wearing gloves, you're riding about on a bike, your hand's still going to be completely freezing. So we'll take a walk up and around these flats and just see what we can see if we can see anything interesting. I can see it looks like a little young girl's been sledging down this hill here. It is currently minus 10 degrees, but it doesn't feel too bad. The sky is actually brighter than it's been for a long time. It's not quite blue, but it's a little less grey, which is nice. As you can see, this car probably hasn't moved for a while. It's not been dug out. So whenever they decide to drive, they're going to have to dig that one out. But if you don't need to move your car too much, then you might as well just leave it until some of the snow melts. This one here has got perfect snow on it. I would say some of the snow, it feels like some of the snow's melted, even though, look at that, you couldn't even see there's a car in there, couldn't you not? Check it out. Come around here. Oh, I've got to watch I don't slip over on camera. Yeah. So that is basically what all the cars were like, but as you can imagine, people have been coming in and out. That's the type of car you want. You need some kind of 4x4. And I see a dog that looks a bit like a wolf. Some kind of husky, built for the snow. That's the perfect dog to have in this kind of weather. And again, another one of these cars. Any sort of 4x4, rear wheel drive seems to be getting through a lot easier. Watching a lot of the front wheel drives just spinning their wheels, it's almost impossible to get them moving. And this is what a lot of the roads and pavements are like, this sort of still snowy, brown, slushy, horrible snow that you've got to walk around on. But where it's been cleared, it's absolutely great. Right, which way should we go? Let's go this way. Let's take a walk up and around. As you can see, look at this place. This is just classic Moscow away from the centre. Just apartment after apartment. It goes all the way behind me. When I walk around this corner, it will just be apartments for as far as you can see. This is how most people live in Moscow, and of course all of these places, it's the car parts and the parts for the children. It just means that everything's sort of covered in snow. This is up to almost my waist, where it's been ploughed off to the side. And you can see the tracks in here as well. If you've got a small car, like a little Suzuki or something, that I used to have, a Suzuki Swift. I don't know if you get them in Russia, maybe, but one of those would really struggle to get through. Check it out. If we go up here to the park, where it obviously won't have been ploughed, we can see how deep the snow is. Apparently it was the worst snowstorm in 100 years. I don't know. Well, I think it's, obviously I've seen snow like this in Moscow before, but I think the thing was it came overnight. It went from zero, like zero snow, to, well, worse than this actually, because I think some of it's maybe melted. You can see a table tennis table over here that's completely covered, and the benches as well. You can see, I mean, it looks like people have still been playing in it, because look at all the footprints. And we got the bars, the outdoor gym, this bit for your crunchies, the chin-ups, pull-ups, and the stone table tennis table, which you see in a lot of Russian parks. Covered in snow. Nobody's going to be playing table tennis on that. The guys and women, because I see women doing it as well, they've got the hardest job, are the people that are shoveling the snow. It must be absolutely exhausting, and they've been doing a great job of it out on the main roads, the main pavements. And then of course the second hardest probably has got to be the delivery drivers, the people that are on the bikes who are delivering the food. Never stopped. They never stopped during the snowstorm or even the day after. They just kept going. This guy's brushing off his car. He's got the right idea, and it looks like most of these cars have been coming in and out, because none of them are still completely snowed in. As you can see, like, more apartments, and then once we go past that apartment block there's going to be more again. Well, I've seen one car that hasn't moved. Completely needing dug out. Check that. That's the type of car you need in this kind of snow. I don't know how people get around in those little cars. Their wheels must just keep spinning. A car coming, let's get off the... I see a Jeep coming, let's get off the tracks. Off the road, even that's sliding around. So of course the snow looks great, but what it does is just makes everything a little more laboursome to walk around. I'm assuming to drive around. I don't drive here, but it definitely looks good. I'm not the biggest fan of snow, to be honest. I could live without it. We do get snow in Scotland, but it only ever comes for a few days and then probably melts, because it doesn't get cold enough. There's a delivery driver. Doesn't really get cold enough to stay for a long time, and then it also rains a lot, so the chances of it getting washed away are pretty high. Alright, let's go out onto a main street and you can check out what it looks like. It's been cleared pretty well. There's hardly any snow on the actual road. It's been ploughed over and over, gritted. It's just in behind the buildings and the car park. Here's someone sweeping the snow off their car. But as we come out on the main road, so often in Moscow you'll have the main road on one side going one way, on the other side then you'll have this sort of park in the middle. So let's take a walk over. I know people have told me they like to see just the everyday normal life, nothing too special. And these are places that you probably wouldn't come to even if you were a tourist, even if you came as a tourist. You're probably not going to find yourself in amongst these apartment blocks. You'll probably be in the Red Square, places like that. So as you can see, it looks pretty good if we walk up this way. It actually looks quite nice once you're in here. You can walk up and down here away from the cars. It's been ploughed pretty well. They've got the nice lampposts that'll light the place up at night. And we come over and show the benches. You're not going to be able to sit on any benches anytime soon. So I think rather than just walking straight up in one big straight line, which might not be the most interesting thing for you, let's go over there in behind those apartments. Let's see if we can see something interesting. Alright guys, let's cross over, check out another little area. Look, this car's definitely not been out recently. And this is probably going to be like this now till at least March. Unfortunately, it doesn't tend to melt away. From what I can remember, even in April, even once it became quite warm, it's still, the snow that gets piled up really high still takes a long time to melt. So as you, like for example over here, even once it gets warm, because it's been piled up all in the one area, maybe the roads and pavements will melt, but this will still be a pile. And if we're coming round here, it looks even higher. Wow, check that out. Look, we're starting to get, almost got some blue sky, which is rare. One thing I noticed when I lived in Serbia was, even when it was winter and it was snowing like this, they had the bluest sky. Serbia had the bluest sky I've ever seen. The weather there is actually really good. Even when it's cold, it's nice and bright. But today, it's quite a nice day. That's why I wanted to take you out. Check out these flats. Massive. They just go on and on and on. I'll take you around and show you what it looks like at the back of a typical Moscow apartment block that's away from the centre. Look, this guy's got plastic bags around his gloves, not only to keep his hands warm, but to keep them dry as well. And they, again, the guys that are delivering the food. The good thing about Moscow is you can literally get, I want to say anything. I don't think you can get alcohol delivered, but you can get food or like groceries type, it's a thing called Lavka and Yandex, and they will come to your house. They've got depots everywhere, so these guys will come to your house. Usually they come to mine within about 30 minutes of you ordering, maybe a bit longer if it's the middle of the night. But I don't think I've been anywhere where it's been rivaled. The speed and efficiency that you can get pretty much anything that you want at any time of day or night. These cars haven't been out. Can you get that in other cities now? I know you can get food deliveries and stuff like that, but even if I go to Minsk or whatever, it's like they just don't have the amount of guys on bikes that are going around. I think a lot of these guys come over from Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, and they'll probably come on some kind of work visa and stay for a while, do the work, earn some money, maybe send it home or take it home. But I think obviously that's where the sheer volume of delivery drivers come from. But it's great when you live here and you can just press a button at 3 o'clock in the morning and someone's going to turn up with whatever you asked for. It's pretty good. Okay, we're back out onto the main street, and you can see how this has been cleared perfectly. But like, if you need to get up to these steps, I guess nobody's going in that door anytime soon. Yeah, I don't think that door's in use. I say you'd have to, that must be up to nearly my waist if I was to try and walk through there. But all the steps that people are actually entering have been cleared. But look at these massive piles on the side. And it's a lovely day, -10. But if you wrap up and you're walking around, it's totally fine. I think I'd done a video, the last video I did, I wasn't wearing a hat. People were telling me that I need to wear a hat. Like, I know I need to wear a hat. There was actually a reason that I wasn't wearing a hat, but I won't bore you with the details. But I think people just think I'll just walk around without a hat and a little summer jacket and then wonder why I'm cold. There is a reason behind everything that I do, trust me. Right, let's head back over into this park in the middle of the road. But it's nice to walk around here once it's been cleared. The only problem is when you come up on the parts that haven't really been cleared, it's a little bit difficult to walk on. But now I guess winter is in full swing, so it's completely frozen over. So I don't see it melting anytime soon. I'll give you a little scan around slowly. As you can see, it's just apartment buildings. They just go forever. Pretty much everyone in Moscow lives in an apartment. Whether you've got money or you don't have money. Of course there is houses a little bit further out, but it's just the way that people live here. Of course you have better apartments that'll have parking garages underneath. They'll be better, they'll be gated off so people can't just walk through them. But the vast majority of people, I would say, live in apartments like this, where on the ground floor you'll have different businesses and shops. Ozone or Wildberries, which is a bit like Amazon. So rather than the Amazon guy coming all the way to your door to deliver stuff, it's just in the bottom floor of your building. So whenever you're coming home, you just obviously you order it online. But this lady's got an Ozone bag. She's obviously been shopping there. The blue and purple bag, or blue and pink bag. And people, you just order it. You get a little QR code. It's actually quite a good system because you never need to think about being in for your deliveries. It's always there, it stays there for weeks. You go in, you beep your QR code, and then you take your thing home, whatever you bought. And also, they're in almost every building, so you never need to walk more than a few minutes to get to one. But that is just one of the things. If you come here, you're definitely going to want an Ozone and a Wildberries account. And this is what a normal podjezd, which is entrance, looks like. You'll have maybe like a little camera on there. You'll have the code for numbers, and you'll have a little fob to get in, and then you'll go in, there'll be a concierge. Again, a lot of these concierge people, they come from Tajikistan, Uzbekistan. All of mine have been, of the places that I've lived, and they stay in just like a little room on the bottom floor and just keep things as they're meant to be. Right, I think we're going to cross over here. Alright guys, I've got my hat on. For the people that said I wasn't wearing a hat in the last video, got my gloves on as well. Right, thanks very much for watching. I wanted to give you a little update because I made the video about the snowstorm, and I think people liked it. People like to see what normal life is like. So thanks very much for watching. I'll see you next time.